This is Larry the Barberman, and today I'm in Athlone, Ireland with none other than Mark Gaye, the owner of Notorious Barbershop. Mark is a 23-year-old young man. He is a multiple barbershop owner and the founder of the Irish Barber Expo. Today I'm here in Athlone to interview Mark to find out where he started, where he's going, and to find out about his massive undertaking, which was the Irish Barber Expo. So Mark, thank you for welcoming me to your shop and sharing your story with me. You're about to share your story with me.
Thanks for coming.
You're very welcome. So Mark, tell me, 23 years old, you're a multiple barbershop owner. I was kind of wondering where the name Notorious came from, and then I looked behind your counter and I saw Biggie with his cigarette in his mouth, so I can only assume that was your inspiration behind calling the shop Notorious.
Yeah, a few things actually. It was funny enough, when I first started the plan of calling Notorious, I wasn't going to be calling Notorious at all. I was planning on calling it King Cuts. So it's gone a little bit different, but what happened was when I went to go register the name for for King Cuts, it was gone to a shop in Kildare, which is just not far from, about 40 minutes from here. So I was sitting there and I had Biggie on my headphones, and I had 2 weeks to open the shop with no name. And Conor McGregor's on TV, and I was like, you know what, I'm trying Notorious. So put it in like that, and then as soon as I picked the name, I was like, Notorious can be anything. So it can be a rapper, it can be an MMA fighter, why not make it a barbershop? So,
okay, sounds good.
Represent it good.
Works. And you've had this shop for how long?
We've had this shop is just over a year, but we're open trading for 19 months. So.
And you've got 3 shops already?
3 shops so far, yeah.
At 23?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can, and you're going to carry on at this kind of pace?
Yeah, we just opened our latest shop in Tullamore, which is kind of central to both places. So this to be 40 minutes from our original shop, and the other shop in Tullamore is about 20 minutes, and the original shop is 20 minutes from that. So it was a no-brainer really going in the middle. So we're planning on hitting Dublin very soon as well, and we might be looking at a shop abroad. So I don't know, it's kind of, things just kind of keep rolling. So it's been different. It's from working in a barbershop 2 years ago, 2 years ago, yeah. We've 3 shops and planning 2 more, so.
And how did you start? Because when we spoke earlier, you was kind of like fleeting around from barbershop to barbershop.
Yeah.
Tell me.
How did, like from the start, how I would have started would have been cutting my own hair.
Okay.
I got fed up with going into barbershops and not getting exactly what I wanted. It would have been before the times where people were going in and they're going to want the skin fade and they want the texture on top, and they knew exactly what those were. But I kind of had a fair idea of what they were, and I knew I wasn't getting what I wanted. So I started cutting my own hair, and that kind of developed into cutting my friends' and family's hair. And over the years, I brought that to college with me then, and it was always a hobby. It was just something I just liked doing in my spare time. And I suppose a lot of people who wouldn't know me close to friend didn't know I was into it until I kind of opened the barbershop. So I was just kind of picking different places to work. I left college, obviously, when I started making some cash in college cutting hair. And I travelled around in a sales job. So that gave me the opportunity to kind of broaden my horizons and move around to different locations and seeing what barbershops and were working in different places. So you suppose you could say I was trained by every barber in Ireland in a sense, because I used to go and sit in their barbershop, wait for a while, and then when it was my turn, I'd be like, oh, my phone's ringing, I have to go. So I'd pick up bits and pieces. But then I'd get the balls to go back in, and I'd be like, here, can I cut hair for you? So just walk in with my equipment, like, can I cut some hair? I'd be like, yeah, sure, go on. So.
And what was you selling?
I was selling charity, funny enough. I was working with Amnesty International, so we were on a Roman team. So we were travelling around Ireland, we'd 6-week tours, and we'd be on the streets talking to people. So I always liked the whole social aspect of it. So from working as a sales job to working in the barber shop, I made the jump fairly quick, because if you can talk someone into giving their bank details on the street, you can definitely talk them into getting into your chair.
And looking prettier.
And looking prettier, yeah. At least you have more to offer them that way.
It was quite funny as well, because when we was talking earlier as well, you said even during your college period, you was actually at some points were in a lot of cases making more than your clients were in full-time employment.
Yeah, as I said already, it was a hobby, and I was addicted to the hobby because it was something, I was always a little bit arty, and I liked going and creating things, and if I wasn't cutting, if I wasn't like cutting hair, I was drawing, I was doing bits and pieces the whole way up through school. So I suppose when I went to college, I was still creating things, even though the haircuts weren't there yet. And I was kind of one of them broke students too, living off loaves of bread and cans of beans for the week. So it wasn't until one of the guys were going out one night to some ball or something was on, and they're like, "Here, look, will you come up and cut our hair?" So I was like, "Yeah, man, you know, I'm tired, I want to go to bed." And they're like, "Look, we'll give you money." So I was like, "Right, okay, I get paid for this." So I went up and I cut, I think it was 10 or 12 heads, and they walked out with 60 or 70 euro. So to a broke student, that means you could eat decent for the week and probably knock in a few beers too. So I was kind of hooked at that point. So I said, right, I'm going to take a few days off college, which I didn't really go into in the first place anyway. So it wasn't really something I was interested in a sense. But took the first week off and made about 200 quid. The following week was like 350, and then to start cutting more hair and start going back home and cut more hair. For whoever there was hair to be cut, and if I had to travel to it, I wasn't even taking into account the expenses put myself to get to the cut hair. I was going and cutting hair. So when I left college, I was actually making a decent living. Then people are probably more than what people are going home and working the weekends. I was making money from cutting hair in the home and then going up to the college and cutting hair, and just kind of kept swapping around like that. But I was making good cash at it, so I was hooked completely. That was my drug.
No, it's funny you should say that, because just the other day I was thinking, you know, if I ever lived again and I went to university, I think one of the first things I would do before going to university is to learn to cut hair, because so many people struggle during university and flipping burgers and doing waitressing jobs and all the rest of it, and you could earn far much more money just cutting hair.
Socialising with your mates.
Yeah.
And that's funny because like we teach a lot of courses here, and we have a lot of people coming in that are young guys and are kind of inspired by where we've went from, and they kind of heard my story a small bit. And a lot of guys who work here are all in around my age, like from 23 down as far. We've a guy working for us only 17. So they're coming in and they know they're going to college and maybe they can't get a grant or whatever for education. So they're coming in, they're learning their trade, and as you were saying, they're going to college and be able to make some money for themselves and do it in a way that they're comfortable cutting hair. We're teaching them the foundations from the very start. So they're able to go in and not just butcher a few mates. They're going in, they actually know how to cut hair. So they have a good customer base. And all these young guys now, they're all into their hair. So it's a no-brainer really when you're socialising with your mates, cut a few heads, drink a few bottles.
Okay, so whilst on that subject, go a little bit deeper into your education, because when I try and call you in the night time, it's like, Larry, I'll call you back, I'm teaching. Tell me exactly what you're doing in terms of teaching.
Right.
When you have them in and what they achieve at the end.
Right, well I suppose the starter for us is down where we are, we're kind of based just out of city centre in Dublin. Like we're about 45 minutes to an hour away from like any kind of biggish city. So it's hard for us to pick up barbers, because most good barbers want to go into a city or want to go to Galway, or they might go abroad with their trade. Like, so it was hard for us to pick up barbers to that standard that I was looking for. So it kind of came about as more a recruitment system where I train all the guys that work with me, besides Smitty, Neil. So he came down from Belfast. But the rest of the guys, we had to bring them in, and they come in with 9-10 years experience, some of the guys, and be like, here, I can go here, and they come in, and they just, sometimes like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And they didn't want to be taught either. So it was these young, enthusiastic guys that they were walking into the shop and be like, I want a skin fade with texture on top, and I want, you know, that kind of spiked look, or whatever it's going to be. They knew what they wanted. I was like, that's the type of guy I'd like working in my shop. They're enthusiastic about their own hair, and they're sitting in the shop when they know they could book an appointment, but they're coming in just to watch the haircuts so they can find out what they want to get themselves. So the saying, we just say to the guys in the shop, like, here, look, do you ever think about becoming a barber? And like, you know what, yeah, I actually have, but I didn't know what to ask you or not. And so we started advertising the course then, and we got a huge response. Like the first course sold out after 2 weeks of advertising, and that was just word of mouth. We didn't use any Facebook, no written media, and that was just kind of a sole course running where we weren't giving out certificates. It was just, because in Ireland it's a little bit different. If you can cut hair, you can get a job.
Same as in England, no difference.
Well, yeah, it's getting there though. Yeah. But we linked up with a company called VTCT, which are huge over in the UK, and it's getting big over here as well. So they kind of fitted our regime on what I wanted to teach, where we could put more emphasis on the practical side of things instead of having more theoretical information, which I feel a lot of courses are based towards. So what we wanted from VTCT was to give the foundations and a very strong certificate that they can travel the world with it, but also have the practical education to be able to go and cut at a good standard. So when we opened our second shop, we needed more crew members. So we had to do another course, and that sold out again. And it's just become, when we need to open a new shop, we run a course. And it's become a quarterly thing now. We're selling out courses every quarter, and we're getting brilliant staff members that are enthusiastic. And as corners you're finished with this shop here, and we say, right, the guys are up to a really good standard here, and the manager's kind of getting maybe too big, and he's like, I want out of here. That's when we get to say, look, how would you like to come to our next location with us? So we bring in a strong member and replace them with someone who's after coming off the course, or someone who's after been on the course and has maybe 2 or 3 months of being in the shop and leveling up. And it's a good system. And
I'm impressed.
The guys love it. So it's good. It's like if you were here last night, this shop was, I think there was 12 barbers in here cutting, or trainee barbers in here cutting. And we had the guys that are coming in to get their hair cut. And it's just the environment. The guys are coming in to get their hair cut off the people. They're now thinking, I love this. I want to be a barber. And they're asking about the course while they're getting their hair cut. So it's just like it's a machine now at this point.
How long is your course?
It's a 12-week course. It's intense. We do 2 evenings per week, and it goes for 4 hours per night. And then we have add-on of an extra week where we'll put on for exams and stuff like that. So the course itself is contained in just practical learning and theoretical learning. But we'll do maybe a month of practical learning, followed up by a class or 2 classes of theoretical learning.
So this is from zero to hero.
Well, we won't call it that just yet, because we do a follow-on course. We like to see people, like at 3 months I wasn't a good barber. At 4 years I still wasn't a good barber. So we like to send them off, maybe go and get some experience from about week 8, week 9, go into a barbershop, try to get a bit of learning done, and then come back after your exams are done and you've got a bit of practical experience and come in and do an advanced workshop. So we'll start working on more intensity on key things you can bring into your work, or different sales, how to sell products, how to sell yourself, social media, which is obviously a huge influencer in how we've become kind of zero to hero, as you said.
Indeed, yeah. And looking to the side of you, I see that Notorious actually has their own wet product line.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your wet product line that you've got behind you.
Yeah, we've gone from a few bits. We've the whole way from we've 3 different types of clay. We've an extreme clay, which is kind of a strong hole, which is something between your layrite cement and also your Andrews hair. So it's a really nice structured hold. And we have a grooming clay, which we use for pre-blow dry. We'd also use our matte sea salt spray, which gives a nice frisk to the hair. And that's something we kind of compound them together. We might tag in a grooming clay to blow dry the hair along with the sea salt spray. So the matte clay will help give a bit more weight to the curl. So we kind of tag them all together, and it helps the customer when we're actually explaining to them, like, how'd you get the haircut looking like that? And well, we have to use these. So it goes hand in hand. If you don't have the products in your shop, and if you're working with a product, you should be able to sell them that product and give them that home care routine to go home and be able to recreate. So
you're massive on in-shop retail?
Yeah, definitely. It's something we're trying to build in. Like, I suppose when we started out, first of all, we didn't want it to be seen as being too commercial. I know it's a commercial-looking barber shop, but we didn't want to be too in your face about things. So we won't come in and push you on a product. We'll advise you on a product, and if you want to take it off us, we'll give you your product, of course. But we want you to be able to go home and recreate that as best possible, because we find that when people come into us, they're actually ringing us up maybe before they get a haircut on a Tuesday, and they go back in the Friday and say, look, I'm going out tonight. Would you mind selling an extra 10 minutes doing my hair for me? And yeah, okay, fine. Come on in. So we just give them a routine now to go home and be able to recreate. Okay, and that's most important for us, because it's one thing for us, the stylists, to be able to do it, but we're trained to be able to do it. But for the guys that don't quite know, get the right materials.
Yeah, if it falls to bits, then it's kind of pointless,
yeah,
isn't
exactly,
it? They should get a level of, I don't know, sustained use out of their haircut.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so as I introduced at the beginning, the Irish Barber Expo. This is your first ever expo. You have not gone big, you've actually gone massive. I mean, you've got some big names coming in, Rob the Original, you've got Hard Grind coming in, you've got Bird, Sharp Fades. You've got quite a lot of names coming into this show. For 23, it's a massive undertaking.
I know.
And you've put the word Irish on the front, so you're representing the whole country.
Yeah.
Tell me where this came around and where you're going with it.
Right. As I said to you before, it was kind of, I didn't plan on it being this big, but it just took off, and it keeps impressing me. And for me, who's actually organising the whole event, it just keeps impressing me. Every time I go post about someone, there's someone new being added. Like, I have to turn down people that I've been idolising all my life, and they're saying, like, can I be part of the show? I'm like, I'm so sorry I can't have you a part of this, because we have 45 groups of barbers that are on stage. So I think we have something like 60 barbers that are going to be between 2 different stages. and that's just the exhibition stage, the competition stage as well. But I suppose the way it would have started would have been, we predominantly in Ireland, we have to go onto a plane and we have to fly over to the UK to see a good show. We don't have anything like that here, essentially. So for us, it was trying to bridge that gap a small bit, because you have shows like Sal International, Pro Hair Live, Great British Barber Bash, Our Barber UK. The list goes on, and we just don't have that here. So I went to all these shows, and I've been to probably 20, 30 shows, and I keep coming back. I'm like, wish you had something like that over here. And then you explain to people what these shows are about over in Ireland, like, and these are barbers that are cutting way longer than I am, like, and they don't have a clue about these shows. I'm like, wow, I'd love to go to that. And then you say to them, we'll just book a flight or get the ticket from here. And I was actually promoting so many other barber shows, and it was nothing to do with homegrown Irish. And if you notice a lot of shows and expos that are on around the UK, they're being headlined by a lot of Irish barbers. Absolutely. And a lot of Irish barbers are trailblazing abroad. Like you have Ryan Cullen, Conor Taff, Leah Hayden. Like Leah Hayden's arguably one of the best female barbers in the business. And it's a pity that we have to go abroad to see that. So for me, it was about elevating the industry over here to be able to go and see these names and know the difference between your €8 haircuts and your 15, 20 euro, 35 euro, what some people are charged for haircuts. But also putting the brands that are killing it over here. Like there's some great brands coming out of Ireland. Like it's fantastic to see, because when I started out, first of all, there was only a handful. Like there was maybe one or two. Like so. Putting them brands on stage and showing what they're about, and be able to create something for the people coming up along the lines, like the young guys, because they don't know, they just see, working in a barbershop, that's cool, but they don't understand how far it can take you. You can be educating to, like, I'm a good example of that. I've gone from working the barbershop, training myself, to working the barbershop, to own the barbershop, to owning three, to educating people, to going on their own barbershops. Now we've an expo going on, and we get to go on stage and stuff, and that's fantastic, because we get to share our experiences, which is just our view and how we like to cut hair, with people that are coming up. And you always pick someone, like if you're a football fan, you're going to like Ronaldo. So you need to pick someone who's an idol. Like mine would be Josh Monica personally, because what he's done for the industry. So it's good for these young cubs coming through to be able to spot someone and say, you know what, I'd like to be like that, and it gives them that bit of inspiration to go and do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, if they can get up close and personal with them and converse and just ask their most pressing question that's limiting them, and that person offloads or shares what their limiting step is, that can only inspire them, and they can indeed get on the plane and go and see it in Salon International. You're telling them to go to Salon International, that might be too much, too soon. Overload. But if you can bring that to Ireland and they can see the bigger picture, then that could inspire.
And you don't get to go up to Ronaldo after a game and say, well, mate, any tips? You can go up to Ryan Cullen, Josh, they're all approachable guys, and they'll give you a bit of advice, and you bring that home with you, and you sleep and you think on it, and then you bring it back into the shop the next day and you're fired up. So that's what we needed out over here, and we're lacking that. This for me, it's about a movement for Irish barbers. And like it's if you look at the main lineup, there's not a lot of Irish barbers there on the international stage, but we have a second stage with Buxy, and we've lined that with the cream of the crop of Irish talent. So it is an Irish Barber Expo with a lot of different names, and like it's crazy the amount of names that have got involved, and they're also approachable.
Okay, so tell me some of the big names and what you've brought them in for specifically to make the show wholesome, if you like.
Rob the Original. Icon. He's done everything. He's been on Oprah. I don't know any barber who's been on Oprah, and I don't know anyone personally who's been on Oprah either. So, Rob the Original for what he's done for the industry. Like he made it in art form, and what he does is literal art. Like that man. You go on his Instagram, and I actually seen Donald Trump in a diaper. You know what I mean? Like he can do anything he wants. So we've actually had a lot of art students that came just to see him. Which is a little bit different.
Buying tickets.
They bought tickets, they're just coming to see him. Like, so we brought in Rob for obviously what he's done for the industry, and obviously he's a personal favourite of mine as well, because I'm inspired by a lot by what goes on in the US, and it was a no-brainer. Once we made contact, it was just so simple, and I would have thought we've been like trying to get hold of Cristiano Ronaldo, but it wasn't. It was very approachable, and you know that yourself as well. Like, but also Lou the Barber. Lou is arguably one of the greats over there in the US as well. And what he does, he brings all, like Americans that have all the tools they need, like, and to make sure they have all the tools, using 6 or 7 different razors and a haircut, and to have enhancements, and they're waxing. If you want inspiration, for me, I go straight to the US barbers. So it was funny. When I started advertising Irish Barber Expo, like, people started asking to get involved, and I would have been tagging, like, on my own personal page, Notorious Barbers, I would have been tagging Sharp Fade in everything. Just straight, I wanted to get on that page. And all of a sudden I get a message off Sharp Fade, and it's like, hey, we'd like to get involved. So it's like, right, so who's we? And picked up, got on a video call, and it was Bird, and now we talked the whole time. You know,
and you know his identity.
I know his identity. Yeah. He's 23 as well, funny enough. So we click it off really well. And he's like, look, I'm bringing Lou with me as well, and look, I'm going to try to get onto this guy and this guy and this guy, and it just kept snowballing. And then same with Oscar Torres, Barber since '98. He's been fantastic in helping advertisers, and he's a fellow Buxy ambassador too. And you know, it's just that community that just they want to do things. It's great, like, at the moment, the way things are, because barbers just want to go places and want to network with other barbers. And if you meet one guy, he has 3 more guys for you to meet. And as I mentioned, Attila the barber earlier on, Attila rings you at 10, 11 o'clock at night when you're just about to put the head down, and he's on a video call with 16 other barbers, and you're just like, yeah, let's go again. And you know, you're just meeting new guys the whole time, and they're all like, oh, we've heard about the expo, can we come? I'm like, yeah, we've no more space, man. And it's tough to turn these people down, but it keeps linking up. We've fantastic talent coming from the US, the likes that I don't think has ever been put on a show in Europe, never mind anything else, like. So.
And you know what's quite amazing about it? Some of the names that you've got are actually worthy of, you know, Salon International, Barber Connect, and they're coming to Ireland, to your intimate setting where people can, you know, get down, network, learn haircuts, exchange telephone numbers, sell product. You know, I think you know, you're onto something very, very special here.
Yeah, well, that's how it happens. It's mad. It's not until you're on a video call with these, because the US guys, they want to talk at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I find them waking up to get on the phone to talk to the guys. And then the early birds, like yourself, you wake up to 2 or 3 more messages, and it's like, oh, I have to go again. But it's fantastic, because the amount of things we put together already for a future plan before the expo and after the expo with these guys has just been phenomenal. And we've some things in the pipeline which could landscape the way education and the growth of barbering could be taught in the future. So it's really, really exciting times with how the expo is going and the people who've got involved.
I second that. And what do you think, what limitations or in the business do you think there is right now, and what do you think this expo will help to bridge? What limitations?
Whoa, that's a tough one. You didn't tell me that one. I suppose it's going to bridge the gap between hairdressing and barbering. And I think that's being bridged daily at the moment, because I see we do a lot of workshops here, and we get hairdressers come in and they want to learn barbering, and we're getting barbers that want to learn hairdressing. So I think for barbers, they're going to realise that it's not just about walking into a barbershop, sit there for 3 or 4 hours, but it's actually about booking an appointment. It's about knowing your barber, and your barber knowing you before you even get in the chair, and knowing what styles are available. And I think it's going to take away, like, I worked in the shop before, and I counted the amount of comb over haircuts, which was shaved right up to the line and is parted over with the crown cut out. I did about 10 or 15 of those haircuts in a day. And I was like, gee, I want variation, I want something different. So be able to go on, like that's, I touched on this last night with you, be able to be variable with your hairstyles. People are coming in that maybe only have 2 or 3 hairstyles in their bank, they're going to learn 20, 30 different hairstyles in this one show. Like, if someone comes out of this show and is an arty guy and he's able to go and draw the Mona Lisa in the back of someone's head and like Rob the Original can, then we've created something.
That's right, yeah.
So
your job will be done.
Yeah,
I think your job's going to be done, you know, hundreds of times over, you know what I mean? And not only that, they're going to go on to then share it with other barbers what they've learned. So it's a fantastic thing. Man, it's quite a lot that you've achieved at the age of 23. What would you say that your biggest achievement to date has been?
Well, I haven't pulled that one off yet, have I?
That's why I said today. Yeah. That's in the future.
Yeah. To date, I just recently got published in a magazine, and that would have been something that, it's Irish Hairdressing Magazine, and that would have been something I would have always worked towards. And I'm being interviewed by you as well. I watched a lot of guys get interviewed by you, and I was like, wow, I'd love to be interviewed by Larry the Barberman. So I'm being interviewed by Larry the Barberman.
Thank you very much.
That's a good start. And then being published in the magazine and being able to see your story on a paper that's been published nationwide, that's something that's been great for me. But building a team here at Notorious, that's been something that's been very satisfying for me, because it's something I use as a term, as a machine now. If I'm coming into work and I'm not fired up, these guys will, what are you doing? Like there's one, my manager in Mullingar, Tommy. When I first set up the shop in Mullingar, he was the guy that gets you, he'd walk in and he'd be, here's the coffee, man, here's the coffee, man, come on, let's go. And he's, whoa, going around taking videos of himself, and you know, so we've been...
Attila too.
Yeah, Attila, man, them guys need to network. But we've set up something here which I think is quite special, and it's rubbed off on a lot of young guys coming in here, and I think changing the way barbering has been done in the Midlands for us has been my what I call my personal greatest achievement, because it's become more than what I expected it to be. And if you expect something to be small and you surpass that multiple folds, that's my job's complete here. And it's something, if I move location, that still goes on, because the guys, they have the same attitude as I have for it, and they're loving coming into the shop. It's hard to get the guys out of the shop. Like Neil's not meant to be in the shop today, and he's in the shop. So it's cool. It's cool to see that. And it's a simple thing, but that's it. Like we changed barbering around here for the good, I think.
Well, you've got a great system going, because again, at the age of 23, a lot of barbers would, at the age of 23, would open up a shop, think that they're doing a good job of managing their barbers, and they find that they're kind of turning up when they want and doing what they want, and they haven't got any control. But it seems like, you know, you've got a great system in place. Your barbers are enthusiastic, disciplined, and they see the same vision that you do. You know, having a barber shop where everyone's on the same page is a very difficult achievement, even in your 40s, let alone to do it at the age of 23. So you've done a superb job. Carry on doing what you're doing. So let's close up now. What would be your words of advice to the young man? You're a perfect example and an ambassador for the, you know, early 20-year-old. So what would be your words of advice to them if they wanted to, you know, up their game, get a shop, maybe start an expo? Maybe you don't want to tell them that one, but start a shop.
Do you know what? I do. That's something it's something I bring into my daily life, and I've always lived my life by the law of attraction. Good vibes, positive energy. I've been told you can't do these things by a lot of people. You can't be open the shop. I've opened the shop I never told you this. I opened the shop when I was 18, and it lasted 6 months, and I closed it down. MG Barbers was what it was called, and it's still on Facebook, you know. But it's like a streamlined version of this. But once I failed that shop, everyone was like, "Oh, there's Mark. He's he's failing that. He dropped out of college. He failed his first barber shop." I just picked myself. I didn't even come to the equation with me that I failed the barber shop. I was just like, all right, okay, I'll move on and do it again. And without knowing what I was doing as towards living the law of attraction, I was actually doing it until I read the book. Someone threw me the book, The Key to Living the Law of Attraction, which is all about how to attract good things into your life. And I read about 30, 40 pages in, and it was like, I'm doing all that. And I said, right, okay, so I'm just going to keep doing it. So I finished off the book, and I said, I'm doing all that. So just put the book down, and I've always lived off just, if someone says you can't go do things, it's not a thing about go prove someone wrong. But if you've done it wrong the first time around, you're just paying your dues. So keep going, exactly. And keep going and keep going, and eventually it's going to click. Like how many businessmen have failed in businesses? Like 50% of businesses in Ireland, small businesses, will close down inside year one. But you will see another group of businesses open up the following year, and it could be the same guys. And that's just that focus to keep driving past barriers. Now people are putting you down and saying you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing that. Who's telling you shouldn't be doing that? You should be pushing on and making sure you're getting your mark. And once you're happy with what you're getting, that's it. But make sure you're not underselling yourself, because if you settle for what you're getting, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. So I think always pushing past boundaries and pushing yourself daily. Read audiobooks. Like if I'm in the car, I make a point that I'm not listening to music. I'm either listening to an audiobook or I'm making phone calls to the people that might influence things for me going forward, or influence things for the people that are in my shop. So positive energy, block out negative vibes, don't listen to news, don't read newspapers. You don't ever see good news on the news channel. It's always bad news, bad news, bad news. Oh, and there was a panda born in the zoo today. So block out that. There's no need for it. Just focus on you, and that's it.
And embrace failure.
That's it, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there is no noteworthy success without failure. If you haven't failed, then you haven't achieved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That means you haven't pushed yourself.
Yeah, you need to fail in things. Simple as, you need to fail know what it's like to succeed.
Okay. So, Mark, thank you very much for giving me this interview. Guys out there, Mark will be demonstrating and he'll be on stage, and you can come up close and personal and meet Mark on the 30th of April at the Irish Expo here in Ireland. I think it would be criminal if you did not turn up. I mean, the lineup that this man has put on for you guys to benefit and up your game is insane. So I would strongly advise that you come along on the 30th of April. So Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And keep on pushing forward, my friend.
Can I just note on that as well?
Yes, you can.
Enter the competitions, guys. Like, as I said before, this is a huge lineup, and you know how strong this lineup is. You could be on stage with these guys. The final event before the MH Feds and Rob the Original and Lou the Barber go on is the end of the live barber battle. So, yeah, get entering the competitions. You could be on stage at this expo. Just explain the competition to the we have 4 categories. We have brain fire. Creative pompadour. We have men's full fashion. We have Afro stylist and freestyle pattern. So we have 4 main categories, but we'll also have a barber throwdown at some point. We'll just get barbers in. If you have equipment, bring your equipment and cut some hair. We'll have some cash prizes and spots on as well. And then we'll have an overall winner. So you pick maybe 6, 7 people from the winner from the categories that maybe they haven't even won a category. But we'll say that he impressed in maybe 2 categories or 1 category. He did some really good work. We'll put them onto the live to find on this stage. And we've set it out that it's going to be a 360 stage. So you're going to be surrounded by people, and we're expecting about 600 to 700 people at this. So you're going to be surrounded by that many people doing a live barber battle, and the winner could go on to the Our Barber UK final in NEC. So there's thousands of euros worth of prizes. Plus, you get featured in Barber Evo magazine. So big up to Andrew for that.
Yeah, and the great thing about doing a barber battle, if you're not, in this day and age, you can actually become strong and famous and monetize your numbers on social media. If you're not so strong on social media, but you're a very, very strong barber, this is your opportunity to step up to the plate, go on stage and get your recognition in a different way. So I would strongly recommend all you guys to enter this barber battle and make your name that way if it's not so big, if your social media is not so strong.
And it's the first Irish barber battle too.
There you go. Make history with Mark.
We'll take that.
Okay, thank you.